All right, Sagittarius. Well, it seems that you are disappointed, having some remorse, or feeling loss over the decisions of an authoritarian figure in your life, or system, society, some order or ordinance that leaves you feeling loss. The powers that be are making you feel some sort of inadequacy or sadness. However, not all is lost. You still have some sort of union, companionship, friendship coming in throughout this experience. But at the top of your mind, you might be overwhelmed with notions and fantasies, an overactive mind, very clouded by potentialities, maybe fanciful thinking. And whether this authoritarian entity of some kind is in agreement with how you think, I have a feeling that that's what it's about. It's about your ideals versus the common law. And you're aware of what your idealizations may, as scattered as they are, as not unclear as they are, is not tangible. You have ideas, but they're not grounded. At least you know right now they aren't able to be pulled to the ground, and made into solid, tangible steps forward with something. But your ideas are imaginative and creative. Maybe that's where this kind of sadness is coming in. You're realizing that your ideas are not being accepted by this entity, or your approach to things is not being accepted by this entity. They're very, very stern and traditional. You're very effervescent and, fluid. This also can be seen as gender fluidity. I have the female and the masculine here, but I also have tradition. There's more than one or two cups. There's several. And it seems that the third option is being spilled over, overlooked. And the two that remain are not your truth necessarily, but for the sake of tradition and what's common, that's what you're working with. So in the past, there was seeds planted that never came to harvest. And this might have been very disappointing as well. Maybe you had some stock in something and your boss, you invested quite a big deal of time and energy and finances maybe even into this project, this, and your boss just recently said, no, I don't like your ideas, I don't like where it's going not going anywhere, I'm sorry, but we're going to go with this other person for this, and we're scratching it. There are a number of sevens here is what I'm realizing now. The Seven of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Swords. And we don't have the Seven of Rods, do we? We do have the Seven of Rods. It's just under here. Nope. Nope. No, I thought I saw it. Ah. Well, I'm not going to keep going because it's kind of silly at that point. Okay. So all we're missing is the Seven of Rods, which is defending your stance, defending what your beliefs are, what you're driving towards, your passions. The 7 is a very spiritual number. And it seems if this is a spiritual entity that's giving you a hard time, it's very rooted in tradition. So that would be very difficult to change people's minds. It seems like every idea you've had in the past, every dream that you've planted did not come to harvest, at least until now. So you feel like you've been defeated by the system in some way, shape, or form. Subconsciously, you feel like there is this new love you're finding for your friends. There's a new love you're finding for a friend. So if this has to do with coming of age, coming to terms with one's sexuality, identity, you're subconsciously feeling a new beginning with a friend. So maybe you've met somebody within the context of this situation that you're feeling a new beginning, a new friendship sprouting forth, or a new love sprouting forth, or it's coming from a different place maybe. There's something deep within you that is being birthed into realization maybe. There's a new idea that you feel is deep down is going to be cause for celebration. Maybe you're afraid, because your subconscious is also your fears. You're afraid of telling your friends about this new idea because your old ones, the ones that you've put out so far, have not been accepted or seen as traditionally sound. In the future, there is some innovation that is made within the confines know if this means that rules are broken necessarily, or they are bent. In order to gain clarity on the context of a situation. Maybe with time, the rules change because of a greater understanding. So the King of Swords is truth. He knows his own truth, and he sees both sides of the truth, meaning his truth and others' truths. And he's sharp. The Seven of Swords is kind of an out-of-the-box thinker. In reverse, it can be somebody who's kind of stuck doing the same thing over and over again, trying to get a different outcome, which would be considered insane to many of us today, right? So maybe there's a new way of going about this whole thing that is realized in the future and is able to be rationalized, and a new approach is brought to this situation because of clarity is gained. Your advice is to get quiet, is to get real quiet. Listen to your inner self. By quieting your mind, meditating could be very helpful. And going off, not being afraid to be alone, yet leaving the light on for others, for when their time, for when the time is right for them to approach you on a matter. Being receptive, but taking no action, because taking no action is actually taking an action. In this regard, that your hope for others to see the light that shines from within you and others will be found in the darkness of this time, and that there will be some spiritual clarification on the matter, that it will be recorded as law, as tradition of the future. That's deep. But only through inaction and doing what is best for yourself, and taking the time to gather your own clarity on what Spirit wants from you, will this beacon, that you'll be a beacon for others in your situation, or that have the same viewpoints as you, or will have the same viewpoints as you. Others see you as being very strong in taming your own passions in order to be appropriate. There's appropriation, not in the cultural sense necessarily. Maybe you're you're finding yourself socially in a different culture than most around you, but yet you're physically in the same culture. There's this taming one's own inner animalistic nature. There's a civilizing ourselves, becoming civil, becoming quiet, becoming softer in order to obtain great change. And people see you nobly making waves in this regard, making great change happen from how you handle this situation. You're hoping that all this hard work, the refining of the details, the refining of the experience will help you achieve a level of abundance that will be fruitful and giving for the others around you. You'll be able to share your resources with others. You are hoping that this philosophy will bloom into an understanding. This philosophy could have to do with female rights, women's rights, gender equality. There's tangibility here, but there's also a lot of contextualization and fluidity. So there's this hope for the work being gestational, that we're getting somewhere, that there will be a harvest, and there'll be plenty to go around for generations to come. So this also could be creating great change. Working with mothers as well. If you work in a controversial type of setting, if you work in a women's health organization, if you are working towards women's rights in some way, shape, or form, this speaks of all these things. If you are a This is also very auspicious reading for you, Sagittarius, because although this part is getting clear about what I can't, there's making something that's completely not yours, something that you can hold on to. So there's an anchoring down of something that's a little sci-fi here. There's taking these are self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting beliefs. Getting clear on those self-limiting beliefs. Helping others to get clear on the duality of a situation. The balance of it. Stepping outside of the box, maybe helping others to see that they need to. And in doing so, gathering what you know and what you have around you at your disposal to create the change within the system and in the world that you seek, that will be healing and expansive, expanding one's resources, expanding one's debate, one's notion and understanding of how to manifest change, working with the elements at hand, using what we have to alchemize and transmute one situation into a more ideal and hopeful future. There is a great healing here. There's a philosophy of healing here. And so we're asked to get quiet, Sagittarius, and to not take everything so personally within the context of this letdown, this turn away, this inability to fit in, or our belief system is inability to fit in, or other people to meet us halfway, and use this as a driving force in order to create the change that we so desire to see in the world, by doing so within ourselves first. And you are in your power this month because you show up at the end of your reading manifesting patience, manifesting tempering with the elements at hand. It takes time to alchemize a situation. It takes time to heal. But the time to heal comes. And through, whether it be traditional methods of medicine, if you are talking about a physical healing, or alternative methods, there could be a number of different ways to get to the same outcome. So we must look around what's around us and understand that we can create whatever we want as long as we are utilizing our potential at our utmost potential. And through this enlightenment that we have from going through this process, we attain healing. We give back to others as well. There is a endocrine system medical type vibe to this. Messengers within the body. There's also women's health issues. Or gender issues, health issues involved here. How we express ourselves may change in the eyes of others as well, drastically. There could be a coming out of how we see ourselves to others. Internally, we might be doing a lot of work. We might be very happy about this and celebrating this, but we might be doing a lot of work people aren't seeing above the surface, so we're being quiet about it. In the end, we manifest and we transmute, we change, we heal. It's beautiful. Have a good one, Sagittarius.